Hey friends! So, today's video is the day you've all been waiting for. It's
my monthly anti-haul.
And we're back a little bit early this month because I wanted to get this in before Valentine's Day because we have had so many Valentine's Day releases recently, and I wanted to get it in before then just so that, get it in before then. Yeah,
that's what she said.
I wanted to get this video out before Valentine's Day just to give people a little bit of reprieve of all the releases. So let's get started, shall we? Quick disclaimer, if you've ever seen one of my anti-hauls, I'm sure you know what's going on, but if you're new to anti-hauls, if you've never seen one of these before, this is a video where I talk about products that I don't need and that I'm not going to buy, and they were popularized by Kimberly Clark, who makes content here on YouTube, is also a drag queen, is a performer, singer. Check out Kimberly Clark's channel, she's fantastic. It's just a way to counteract the consumerism that permeates the rest of the internet, especially YouTube, especially makeup YouTube, because we all know the release schedule in the last year has been
bonkers.
They've calmed down a little bit this month. I will say it hasn't been nearly as crazy as it was the latter half of 2019. So thank you, brands, for chilling out a little bit. But there's still some ridiculousness coming out of these brands, and we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So I was going through Trend Mood and I was going through Instagram and looking at some new releases, and I realized that there's a handful of things that I actually kind of want. So the first half of this video is going to be me talking myself out of products that I actually do want, that I'm actually like kind of into, but I know I don't need, so let's get to it. So the first thing we are going to talk about is the new Melt Cosmetics Modern Love collection. Like, I'm gonna go get one of those glosses. They look amazing. I love the idea of a flaky glitter in a lip gloss. That sounds fantastic. But this palette that came out, the Millennial Pink palette, it's in a similar vein to the Gemini and the Smoke Sessions, where there's like the first half of a palette is like one particular color story, and then the second half kind of goes in a different direction. So like the Gemini, it was like half kind of orangey browns, and then the other half were like greens. Smoke Sessions, half kind of yellow greens, other half like teal greens. Now, this one is not exactly half and half, but the first portion of it is all very like red, pink, Valentine's Day colors. The last three are in like a gray kind of silvery tone. It has a very similar color scheme to my room. If you didn't tell, I have pink and gray. Pink and gray is kind of my bed aesthetic right now. I kind of like it. And so that's what was going through my head when I saw this palette, and I was like,
oh, this looks pretty.
This is pretty. Like, I love a pink look. I love a pink eyeshadow look. I wear it all the time, and I have pink and purple hair, so like it just goes. And then the gray side, the kind of silvery, kind of smoky side, is something that like I don't wear a lot of, but it's pretty. And so like to me, just looking at this, I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. This is kind of pretty. The outer packaging is neither here nor there. I'm kind of like neutral on it. The color could have been a little bit less flesh toned, but I like the detail of like the studded, and then the font. It's pretty. But looking at the shades, when I look at the swatches, when I look at the pink side, I have all those shades already in other palettes, and that super light pink shade is probably going to just be the color of my skin tone, to be fair, because I am a pink toned bitch. And then the silver side, there's like a dark charcoal, and then there's a black. And I don't actually wear a lot of black eyeshadow. I have some blacks that I like using, but I don't feel like having a black eyeshadow and a dark charcoal eyeshadow in a pink palette is going to make me use those anymore. And again, silver, I have silvers in other palettes that I have. I actually have, it's not with me, but I have the Cyber Bronze palette from Kaleidos. I actually was gifted that from a friend of mine. So I have a black and a silver in that palette that I would use. And then I have all these pinks already. I have these pinks. I have so many fucking pink eyeshadows and pink adjacent eyeshadows that I don't need this. I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. It's so fucking pretty though, but I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. Probably the only thing from this line I'm gonna buy is one of those lip glosses. Johnny Rose, I love the idea that she named a lip gloss after her daughter, but also it shares a name with a Schitt's Creek character, which is fucking hysterical.
Feeling fine, Moira.
I don't need anything else from this collection. I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. This thing got me when I saw it on Trend Mood, and this is a new blush palette from BH Cosmetics, and it's actually a line of blush palettes. Truffle blush collection includes 9 palettes, 9 different blush palettes that all have 4 shades, which are shimmery and matte, and they're $12 a piece. And there's so much color variation with all of it. There's like a dark one that has like a really deep kind of like brownie plum that looks gorgeous. So like the range of shades of these, oof, we've got a lot. For me personally, I have some blushes that I like, and I know myself, and I know that I rarely ever use products from a blush palette. A blush duo, if they release these in duos, I would buy one. I would probably buy 3. But I never use palettes because I never bring whole blush palettes with me. The only blush palette I have is the Lunatic Cosmetic Labs palette, but that's like a blush, highlight, and contour and bronzer palette, so like it covers everything. So I know I wouldn't use these in the way, like I wouldn't use these a lot. They would just sit in a drawer, and I don't want to bring things into my collection that I know are just going to sit in a drawer. I'd rather get stuff that maybe are a little more expensive, maybe that I know I'll keep in my bag all the time, and I'm just not going to use a palette of blushes. I think these are really cute, but I know I wouldn't use them because it's a palette of blushes. I don't need it and I'm not going to buy it. Sorry, BH. If you don't have a lot of blush, I will say, if you're somebody that doesn't have a lot of blush, unlike myself, this probably is a good thing to look at if you're like, I want to kind of play with some blush colors and don't know exactly what I like. These aren't super expensive, so if you're somebody that is looking to try blush and you don't have really any, this wouldn't be a bad thing to try. The next thing we're going to talk about is a new palette from Urban Decay. Now, this is actually, it's weird that it's like celebrating Valentine's Day because it doesn't fit the Valentine's Day theme at all, which I can appreciate. But it's their Wired collection, which is a palette and some gel eyeliners, some liquid lipsticks, and then just some pencil liners. Now, I am definitely going to be like eyeing those liners when I see them in store because, oh boy, the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliners are some of my favorite eyeliners. However, this palette, while I appreciate wholeheartedly that they separated the sections into like ones that are eye safe and ones that aren't, there are some shades in here that are shades from the Electric palette, and I did just declutter my Electric palette, so this wouldn't get any use from me because I literally just got rid of something in my collection that I wasn't using, that I wouldn't use the replacement for it, you know? Like, I don't want to replace something in my collection that I just got rid of that I just literally wouldn't ever use. There really isn't much of a color story. It's just like a rainbow palette, which, like, you know, has a place in some people's collections. For me, not so much, because I have ones that kind of lean into the rainbow. But yeah, I mean, those liners though, those liners are looking pretty. Do I need it? I don't know. The transforming liner I wouldn't use ever. I really want to play with more colored eyeliners, and I really want to have one that's not like a $19 eyeliner because holy shit, Urban Decay liners are so expensive. If anybody has a dupe, like a really good colorful eyeliner that doesn't leave the waterline, because like I've tried some from NYX and they don't work. Gah, I really need to try some, but I don't need this palette.
Next.
Everything else is foolishness, so let's go. Start with my corporate tears mug. There's not alcohol in this, there's sparkling water, and then my sister and we went to the farmer's market this week, and there was a lady selling like organic blueberry juice, and so we bought some. So I mixed it in with my sparkling water, and I have like blueberry sparkling water. It's very tasty. Viseart, what are you doing? You're creating Too Faced palettes now? Viseart has this, the Paris Edit palette from the Edit collection. 12 shades. It's in their sophisticated travel-friendly design. This is some two-faced bullshit right here, and I don't appreciate it, Viseart. I own one Viseart palette, and I regret buying it because it was so expensive for what it was, and I don't use it as much as I would like, but I still own it because the shadows are fine and like they're good, but like they're not worth it for me. I don't know, this just, it's not as special. It's so boring. I have all these shades. This is like a Colourpop two-faced hybrid in a Viseart thing. Like, it's like they started out as a professional brand, which they still very much are a professional brand, and then they like saw the market for consumer brand, and then they're like, ooh, let's make some boring palettes so that middle-aged moms will want to buy our stuff. No, Viseart, I don't need this, and I'm not going to buy it. I have all of these like 8 times over. So the next thing I actually saw, so I don't pay attention to Bobbi Brown like ever. I have never owned anything. That's a brand I've never owned anything from. Never owned anything? Wait, no, I had a bronzer from Bobbi Brown like 7 years ago. So long ago. But I don't pay attention to Bobbi Brown. But I saw this this new collection on Trend Mood, and it's the artist collaboration with some artist. Morag Myerscough created installations for the likes of London's Design Museum and the Festival of Love. So you look at the palette itself, and the packaging is absolutely gorgeous. It's this beautiful, like kind of modern geometric thing. There's like orange and lime and pinks and whites and blues. It's very pretty, very cool. And then you open it up, and it's just a
Neutral palette.
Boring!
And I'm just like, why, Bobbi Brown? Why would you catfish us with this beautiful palette? And then we open it up and it's neutrals with wasted space. So it's 2 things that are like docking it points in the book. I don't know if they expected us to like be tricked into thinking that the colors were more special by putting it on like a striped canvas, but I'm not excited about these. This looks like the Viseart palette. Like literally this one and the Viseart palette look so fucking similar, and I don't need any of it. I don't need any of it. I hate when brands do that. Like, one thing I really love about Kaleidos and I love about Melt Cosmetics is that they don't catfish you with the packaging. They actually put the colors that are in the palette on the packaging itself. And so stuff like this annoys the shit out of me because you get it thinking, ooh, it's pretty, it's gonna be fun and exciting, and then you open it up and you're like, I'm bored now. So I don't need any of this from Bobbi Brown, sorry.
I don't need it, I'm not gonna buy it.
And it's expensive for boring shit.
Next.
I have ragged on and on about House Labs, about Kylie Cosmetics. I don't usually care about celebrity makeup lines. Fenty is really the only one that I've like really gotten into. I saw that Selena Gomez is coming out with a makeup line called Rare Beauty, which right now the branding that they have and like the logo, very boring. It looks like some entry-level graphic design BS.
No, what did you say, dude? What the fuck, dude?
They also, one thing that was very annoying, I was like, how does this Instagram account have so many followers already? Selena Gomez like recycled an Instagram account that was for something else that she did years ago, or like a tour or something, and then rebranded it for her makeup line so that there was a built-in almost million person following, which is very sketch. The thing with Selena Gomez, I've never cared really about her. Like, I don't, she was on Disney after I was watching Disney Channel, so like I never really got into her acting or music or anything. Really, she's inconsequential to my life. And so anytime I've seen Selena Gomez, I'm never thinking about like, ooh, she's got cool makeup on. Like, I feel like there were at least a couple times when people have seen her on a red carpet and they're like, ooh, that makeup is not it. You don't see Selena Gomez and think makeup. Not that her makeup is like bad per se usually, but it's not like she has iconic looks. Like, you think of Rihanna and you think of fashion, makeup, you think of the look of it all. Selena Gomez, you don't think makeup. And I'm just underwhelmed. And I don't imagine not being underwhelmed. I imagine being very underwhelmed when it all hits.
But can you ever just be whelmed? I think you can in Europe.
Hits summer 2020, and it's like, what? It might include fragrances, skincare, hair care, body care, and nail products.
Why?
What does Selena Gomez have, like, as any sort of expertise in any of this? Should I care? Should any of us care? I don't care. Sorry, not gonna buy it. Sorry, Selena. We'll wait and see, but it's like, I'm not excited about this shit. It's just another way of just, like, banking off of your fans. Like, I'm sick Just make merch, okay? Just make merch. Stop it. Stop bringing more unnecessary beauty products into the industry because it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about Makeup Revolution. They released a Heartbreakers collection, and it's a series of, 6 palettes, $7 each. They're 6 9-pan palettes that are a pretty much exact copy of Colourpop's monochromatic palettes. So if you have any of these monochromatic palettes from Colourpop, you absolutely don't need these for Makeup Revolution. And now I usually don't have an issue with Makeup Revolution, like making kind of dupes of things, but when Colourpop is already so cheap, I don't feel like this is like useful in any way. Like when they make ABH or like Kat Von D dupe things or Too Faced dupes, it's like that has a place because you have people who maybe can't afford the higher end stuff and they want to try the color stories, and Makeup Revolution gives them an option. But Colourpop is already so affordable that like this doesn't make any sense for them to do. Like literally the pink one, the orange one, the green one, and the purple one, they look exactly the same. Like the colors, they're like the same placement and everything. The only thing that's different is the packaging and the fact that the pans are heart-shaped. And I'm just like, I don't care. I don't care. Maybe it's cute because it's Valentine's Day, but like, really though, like, do we care? I don't care. I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. Sorry, Makeup Revolution. I'm so sorry.
Natasha Denona.
This might be controversial because I feel like I've seen so many people love on this palette so much. Like, this is a popular palette. Like, I've seen people who I don't usually talk about Natasha Denona talk about this palette. This is the Love Glow Cheek Palette, and it's $55 for a cheek palette. And my opinions on cheek palettes from the earlier discussion about BH Cosmetics still stands. I don't use cheek palettes. I just don't use them, especially with this being like a mixture between cream and powder products. I definitely don't use them. While they do have like little protective shields on like the liquid or the cream products, that kind of keeps it from getting cross-contaminated. I just don't use them. I do not use them. I will never use mixed cream powder palettes. It just seems like way too much work for me. And I don't need to spend $55 on a blush palette that I will not use. Like, there's highlighter in there. There's a darker cream blush. I don't use cream blushes nearly enough for this to be worth it for me. The only cream blush I have one that I got from Yes Style. It's like a Korean brand. I can't remember which one it was. And then I have some of the Glossier little tube blush. What are they even called? I don't even fucking know. The little like squeezy tubes of blush. Those I use when I travel because they're easy to just slap on and they're in a squeezy tube, so there's nothing that's gonna like open up, you know, or break. I don't use blush palettes. I just don't use them. I wish I did. I wish I liked them. I had a NARS blush palette that I had for fucking years and I lusted after it when it first came out. And then I didn't finish it. I gave it to my sister. She still uses it. It's long expired, but you know, I know myself well enough to know that I will not use a 4-pan blush palette, and that's that on that. Sorry, Natasha, I don't need this expensive blush palette. It looks pretty. I'm not saying it's bad quality. When I do these anti-hauls, I'm not necessarily like shitting on the quality. Sometimes I am when I explicitly say that the quality is crap, but usually I'm just like, I don't need this because it's pretty and it's pink and it's Valentine's. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it. Okay, what is next? I had a bite of a thick mint edible a little bit ago, and it tastes really good. Literally, there was some cookies at the weed shop near my house, and it was called Thick Mints, and it tastes just like a Thin Mint, and I was like, oh, this is naughty Girl Scout cookies. Here we go. Okay, well, let's go back to trend mood because I have thoughts about 2 things that are gonna take up some time.
So,
Huda Beauty. Huda Beauty is somebody who is, I would say, a controversial figure within the beauty sphere. She's made some choices and there's issues with Huda, you know. Her products, heavily scented, not necessarily the best for your skin. Her hacks on her Instagram account, usually bullshit, do not work for regular people, especially don't work for people who don't have fillers in their face and have had plastic surgery. She can get fillers and plastic surgery all she wants. I don't fucking care. She came out with a skincare line. And when I saw the images, one thing that made me chuckle was that in the imagery and on the account, I was like, ooh, there's gotta be fragrance in this. On like one of the things where it's like vegan, cruelty-free, 0.2% fragrance. It's skincare. It doesn't need fragrance though. That already is like a docked point for me. I don't necessarily trust Huda Beauty to make good skincare because her makeup is so bad for your skin. So I'm not going to buy into skincare from someone who actively makes products that aren't good for your skin. They're people have had reactions and like there's fragrance in the foundation and like her eyeshadows are what she should fucking keep doing. Like she has good eyeshadow palettes. But one thing that I saw on the Instagram account, there's these videos on the account. She'll be like scrubbing her face with this product and it'll like bead up and it has just like flakes of product and she'll be scrubbing it in and she'll be like,
Ew, look at all that. That's dead skin.
That's bullshit because that's not dead skin. That is product that is made to bead up and pill up, turn into an exfoliant. There was a kiosk at the mall that I used to work at that had a product like this. It was formulated in a way that made it pill up and ball up as you rubbed it into your skin. I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been from like Dead Sea Nails. It was one of those kiosks that like they try and like pull you in and be like, oh, let me touch your hair. And I'm like, no. And my mom got sucked into it and so bought some of it. And it was like a hand scrub. But for the face, I don't know what exact, I mean, like, I'm sure that would probably exfoliate, but the fact that she was advertising it, saying that that's dead skin is absolutely wrong because that's not what that is. Like, you're not gonna rub a lotion on your face and literally have like pieces of your skin peeling off. That's not what that does. So it's false advertising for her to say that. So that's another check mark on the nope list. I don't trust Huda on a lot of things. Like, I feel like her Instagram is largely clickbait BS that started just as like Instagram clickbait accounts, and then she was just like, ooh, I've had success, let's come out with products. Again, this is a product that looks like it was solely made for Instagram videos, and I don't want to buy anything, especially for the skin that's solely made for Instagram videos. So I don't need it. I'm not gonna buy it, Huda. Sorry. Not sorry. Last but not least, you know where this is going. Jaclyn Hill, Morphe Palette Volume 2. I talked about this whole release, Jaclyn's comeback to sell shit, in a video last week. So if you haven't seen that, please watch it. Jaclyn came out with another Morphe collab. Surprise, surprise, said nobody. They're so untrustworthy in general that I do not want to give my money into essentially what is like a water fountain of like wishful thinking. Like, is this gonna be good? Am I gonna get a fucking rash?
I don't know.
And looking at the palette itself, I'm not gonna lie, like, looking at it, it's not ugly. It's not an ugly palette by any means. And the first Morphe and Jaclyn palette was not ugly. When, like, the first one that she came out with several years ago. That's, like, I feel like the only product that came out that didn't have, like, massive amounts of, like, drama and scandal around it. Looking at this palette, again, it falls into Morphe's like classic problem, is that there's so many repeat shades that you don't need a 35 pan palette. This is the 35O with like a few, like a couple of purples, and like a matte yellow. If you have any of the 35O palettes, you absolutely don't need this. It's just another Morphe palette to me, and I don't buy Morphe. I don't fuck with Morphe. I don't trust Morphe. I feel like they pick weird people to work with. Generally, they've picked people with questionable judgment and questionable character, i.e. Jeffree Star, Jaclyn Hill, and James Charles.
So,
I will continue not to buy Morphe products, and I will continue to not support Jaclyn Hill with this release because I don't trust her farther than I can throw her. And like my good pal, Smoky Glow, said in her video about Jaclyn Hill, continuing to buy her products and continuing to support her is only enabling her bad behavior and is only enabling her thinking that this is okay and only enabling her repeated behavior and her constant victimization of herself. If we keep doing this, if people keep doing this and supporting her, she's just gonna keep making a fool of us, being stupid, and by being untrustworthy, by being manipulative, by lying. So I don't need any of this. I'm not going to buy it. I don't trust Morphe. Morphe has done plenty of things that are shady as fuck, including pretty much everything they've done with Jaclyn Hill except for the first palette. So I don't fucking need it. Do you need it? Absolutely not. If you want it, if you really want it, tell me why. Try to explain to me why. Like, I honestly, sometimes I'm just like, I'm baffled by like how many people still support her because I can't see the redeeming qualities. I'm sorry. Like, she used to be good at eyeshadow tutorials. Like, she's still not a bad tutorialist as far as making videos, but she doesn't make those anymore. So it's like, she's not even giving you the content that she did that was good anymore. So it's like, why? Why, friends? Please tell me.
Why am I persecuted?
We're in a dark timeline when you would prefer to have Ted Cruz or Mitt Romney as president. Seriously. Mitt Romney. Christ. Anyway. So I think that's everything. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. It actually wasn't a ton of products. If anything comes out in the next couple of days, obviously you'll see editing me in here at least once. Because you know how that happens sometimes where I'll like film a video 4 days in advance and then like 2 days before the video goes up, it's just like, here's 3 more products that are stupid. So then I just add it in there. So editing Abby here, also with the Sleep Libby in the background. I have one thing to add about the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette. Well, I guess more than one thing to add. This palette just came out, I think today as I'm recording this addendum. It's like an all purple like addition to his like blood line, which he had like blood sugar, blue blood, bloodlust. And this whole palette is like a hexagon shaped and it's in like purple velvet packaging, which is giving me very like Crown Royal bag vibes, which doesn't really read as like luxury. When I saw it, at first I was like, oh, that's kind of pretty. But then when I thought about it more, I was like, wow, this color selection is very niche to like very light skinned people, because looking at the tones of the pinks and the purples, they're all very light and there's not a lot of like variation in like shade, in like depth of shade. It's all very light tones. Like there's like a black with sparkles, and then there's like a rich kind of jewel tone teal, and then there's like a kind of like mid-tone purple, and then like a bright tomato red, which like feels a little bit out of place, but like I'm not gonna dock it that much. But just the range of tones from like light to dark is so abysmal when it comes to just like a variation. And please stay in focus, thank you. Like, it's clear that he doesn't care about people with deeper skin tones, because it's like there's no way that this palette would work on anybody with anything darker than like NW like 20 maybe. I don't know. I don't know all the MAC shades off the top of my head, but Jeffree, your lack of inclusion is showing with this palette. And looking at the shades by themselves too, like a friend of mine had mentioned that this looks like very Norvina, in that it's like very purple and pink and like a little bit of red tone. And I have the Norvina palette, like the original Norvina palette, and I have so many pinks and so many purples. Like, I honestly don't wear a lot of purples, even though my hair is pink and purple. I wear a lot of pinks, not as many purples, so I wouldn't get any use out of this palette. As it stands, I just have so many colors that are so similar. And while the palette would work on my skin tone, I don't appreciate that it really only works on my skin tone and a little bit darker. So sorry, Jeffree. I mean, you guys know me. I don't fuck with Jeffree Star Cosmetics. I'm not a fan. I've never been a fan. We'd have to be in like a much darker timeline for me to support Jeffree Star, even though right now we're currently in like the darkest timeline. But, you know, this Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette, I don't need it, and I'm not going to buy it. But are you surprised?
No.
If you are, you must be new here. That's Libby asleep in the background. Not even that late, it's only 9:45, but she is a tired bitch. Are you awake? Yeah? Just like move your arm or move your foot. Jeffree Star's Bloodlust palette. I don't need it and I'm not going to buy it. Back to the video. Please take my opinion as my opinion. Please do not take it personally. I'm talking about the brands. Usually, sometimes I'm talking about the person, which I make very clear. So please, if you like these products, if you buy these products, if you want to buy these products, I don't care. I really don't. It's inconsequential to my life. I'm using that motto all the time. If it's inconsequential to my life, I don't fucking care. This was just me trying to talk myself out of some of them. And for the people who do like watching these videos and who do like getting some tough love and me being like, hey, do you need this? No. Because there's a lot of you out there that actually like that. Thank you for watching my videos and for liking my anti-hauls. It makes me want to keep doing them every single month. Please do not be personally offended if I don't like the blush palette that you like, because you're a person. It's a product. It's not the same thing. For today's song of the day, let's see. I will not have the same band again, I promise. We're gonna bring back an oldie. We're gonna bring back an oldie, one of my favorite songs from one of my favorite bands that are no longer playing out anymore, but I love very, very much. Evil Bee by Menomena. Menomena is a band that I've seen really only like 3 times, but I love their music. I love all of it. I wholeheartedly love it. Band from Portland. The album is very old. I think it's like 11 years old at this point. I don't remember when it came out. 2008? Something? I don't know. But the song Evil Bee, the music video is very weird, so I'll leave a link to it. Check it out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you. I like you guys. You guys are pretty cool. Thanks so much to my patrons. If you're new here and you would like to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button right down there, because that's where it lives. Everything on my face will be in the description. I did not get my nose pierced. This is a fake septum ring. So yeah. Again, I'll leave the link to the jewelry in the description, and I will see you all in my next video. Okay, bye!